What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm BMax45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We are going to be doing our market analysis for the Digimon TCG like we do every Friday. We're going to be a little bit late today. Unfortunately, I did not get up until way later. As I mentioned, I'm at the hospital. We just had our third child, little baby girl. Wonderful and magical time. And so, in between mommy and baby sleeping, I'm getting a chance to do this market analysis. We kind of got up late, so we slept in pretty early. So I usually would have this up by 6 Pacific time, but it's going to be a little bit later here. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about card prices. We've had our first in-person regionals for North America. That was the Niagara Falls. There's another one this weekend here, so we'll have to see if there's any changes to the market next time, depending on decks. But we have some information on the cards, the decks that are doing really well. And we're going to be talking about the prices of those cards and how they are changing. And one of them we're going to be starting with is, of course, Sakuyamon, which took the #1 spot at the Niagara Regionals. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of the fun. All right, so we have Digimon X-Antibody here. Not a very expensive card, but it's an important card for the deck anyways. $13 here. It's seen a little bit of an uptick here. Still a very, cheap and cost-effective card. There's other cards in the deck. They're going to be more expensive, but I was just looking at this one just because I wanted to see. This is the main boss monster for the deck. So everything, there's a lot of rares and stuff like that. There are a few alts in there. This is one of them. So I wanted to take a look at that. So still, if you like this deck, Sakuyamon has been around for a long time, and this is the first time it's getting that, meta love that everyone wanted it to. It's funny because it's not even really a plug-in deck anymore, but we are going to talk about the plug-in cards. So I would say that, this is still in a decent place. You only need a couple copies. I would get it before, because if this deck continues to do good, and I'm talking about like took 4 spots in the top 16, I can see this going way over $20 real soon. All right, well, there's that one. Like I said, we want to talk about the plugins here because the plugins don't get really played other than maybe some people were playing the green plugin and pause plugin. So you can see that those ones are two of the most priciest ones. You got, $14 for pause plugin, $28 for Digivolution plugin. The other ones are still, these are event pack ones, other than the pause plugin, but you can still see they're still pretty expensive at over $10 a plugin, other than when you get into like the ones that no one ever ran. Those ones are really cheap, but definitely the event pack ones are still pretty pricey, regardless if you play them in the deck or not. We also have Rika's. Rika's not really played in the deck anymore. She's just not really part of the formula for the winning deck, and so you're seeing that the prices of Rika are just dropping. EX2 alt is down, and everything else is just, there's nothing. So I mean, if you're looking to play a more Rika based deck, now would be the time to get them until someone like cracks the deck where it can be good and do both. I think that right now is the time to get those tamers, especially for other iterations of the deck down the line, because you never know. Gallantmon, Crimson mode. Not the Megidramon is the other big deck that's taking at least a quarter of the top 16 spots, but it's not a card you play in that. I mean, you still have regular on X-Antibody, but you also have this card in Royal Knights, and it's still a pricey card up there at $85. It's seen nothing but increases. It's been continuing to go up. So hopefully you got it, back when it was like, well, I mean, I think it was even lower. I think at one point it was closer to 50, but it's just been sitting above, 80 for the longest time, above 65, 70 for the longest time. So this card is definitely one that's good to sell right now, especially if you're not going to be playing that Royal Knights or any of the Gallantmon decks. You have the new support from BT21, the War Groundmon stuff. This is one of the most pricey pre-release cards is the War Groundmon, $14 for him. That's been going up since Megidramon started to do good. You got Digimon X-Antibody, because now he's good in like 2 Digimon decks, X-Antibody and in the Digimon deck. So he's seen increases as well, back from when he was around like $14, now back up over 20. So again, you're seeing those increases to the Digimon. Anything you play in the Digimon line, just like the Guilmon, the new Guilmon up at $17. It's seen nothing but increases here. And of course, those release event things are harder to get, so there's that as well. Groundmon X-Antibody, this one's crazy, $40. And I might have missed one there because I think I jumped over. Oh, you know what? I thought I had it, but I must have changed it. Thought I had the War Groundmon X-Antibody, but I must have changed it by mistake. But this one's nuts. This War Groundmon X-Antibody is not actually always getting played in the Digimon deck, so it's not as important. It's a lot cheaper, but the Groundmon X-Antibody is getting played, and it's at max numbers and $40. I'm glad I got these for a lot cheaper. Yeah, I got a pretty good deal when the set came out. It was still an expensive card, but yeah, it was down around 22, and now it's basically almost doubled. Because they're harder to get now, there's less copies of these foil versions out there if you're looking for max rarity. Obviously, if you just get the regular common, it's a lot cheaper, but if you're looking for those foil cards, it's going to be a lot harder. We also see Promo Gallantmon continuing to rise. It's had a bit of a rise and a fall, and now it's a staple for Digimon as well, and it's a staple in the new Gallantmon. So we're seeing it rise a little bit more. The recovery ability, the rush recovery ability is really nice, especially because this deck mills, so it makes it easy to play him for nothing and have that rush blocker recovery. So it's really, really good. Yeah. Keeps you in the game a little bit more. Paildramon, of course, going back up again because Blue Green Imperial is still doing really, really good. So we're seeing it was kind of down there. It was dropped a little bit. I think it was under a little 60 a little bit, and now it's back over. This card's always been expensive. I don't know what to say. It's hard to find a good price for this card. Same with Dino B. It was a lot lower. It was around 40, but it's now up around 55. So, and this is a hard one because of the Shadramons also being a major expense for the deck. So it's kind of hard to say that this is going to be what it's hard for people to get into this deck. Luckily, if you picked this stuff up back in BT16, it was dirt cheap. So you definitely won that bid. It was like $5, I think, an alt at one point. So I think I sold one too for $5 after I got my playset because I got an extra one somehow. So winner chicken dinner on that one. Looking into Royal Knights, of course, looking at some other cards other than Omnimon. Cool Boy has actually started to cool down. His price is starting to come down a little bit here. You can see still pretty high, up at like $28-30. Hopefully it'll come down a little bit more in the next little while, because Royal Knights is still taking spots, but it's taking far less spots now with Digimon and Sakuyamon just dominating the format. So if that's the case, I say that this probably will come back down maybe $20. So there's that as well. And we also have King Drazel at 42. King Drazel is still an expensive card if you're going to be running Royal Knights, especially if you want max rarity. Most recent sale is $50. It's just gone up and up and up. And as long as Royal Knights is in the meta, I think it'll stay high. So again, good time to sell, especially if you're expecting Royal Knights to start, doing less well. Very good time to sell with this card. Leviamon is still doing good in the format. Leviamon never fails. It feels like it always has a top or two in it every format. And again, we're seeing Levia X, such a great purple deck. And we're starting to see the price on it kind of increase a little bit here. Market price is a little bit higher. Most recent's a little bit up, but it's still not that much of an increase. So still a very affordable card at $18 to $22. So if you think you want to play Leviathan because it's a great deck and it always seems to be good meta to meta, this might be a deck for you to jump into and invest in. We got Shine Greymon. Of course, Shine had its own one spot in the regionals. I'm really happy about that. Not quite the build I thought it was going to be, a red base build, which is cool. I like the yellow base better, but the guy did very well with it, and I was surprised. Rise Gray, BT13, he only played 2 copies, and he maxed out on the new Rise Gray, so that was interesting because I thought man, you need more ways to play Marcuses, but apparently not. And then you have Shine Gray, the boss monster, up at $30. You can see here it's had significant increases since the release of the set, now being up. You got copies, you got limited amount of copies, so this could go up to $40 if it continues to do well, if it gets a couple more tops. Easy. So right now might be the time to buy. Definitely was the time to buy earlier on when it was around $23. So maybe you can still find people to part with it for that. You have Ruin Mode. Ruin Mode's getting played in a bunch of decks now, especially Shine. It's a really great card. It just shuts down opponents who have to put lots of low-level monsters on the board. So it has actually seen quite an increase here. Back from like $50 all the way up to 90, just because limited copies, and the last recent sale was close to 80. So I mean, this card again has shot up again. This is the time to sell this right now. Well, there's not many copies on the market, and I mean, I think if we look here, 70 listing at 70 with a market of 50. This one here up at 63 with another market of 50. It's just such a great card. It just seems as soon as it becomes a good card again in the format, it always seems like it jumps right back up in price. And the last Shine Greymon we have, of course, is Burst Mode. Burst Mode is also important for the deck, and it's trending around $20, so a lot less. You only need a couple copies of it. So again, it's not such a big expense, and it's gone up. It's basically doubled in price since the release of the new support. Which isn't too bad because it was only around like $10, and now it's around $20. But there's lots of copies. Well, there's a fair bit of copies, so I think it'll stay around that right now. So you're kind of safe if you want to, wait maybe a little bit to see if it goes down a little bit. Maybe get for under $20 and stuff like that. I don't think that's a necessarily bad idea because you don't need many copies for the deck. 1 or 2 is all you really need. Of course, Marcus is another. Completely different here. Marcus has been all over the board, spiking high, low. It's the best Marcus. You got to play 4 of it. Still up there at $30, which has kind of been like its price point. If you look through the line, it's kind of the base point for it. It'll go high, and then it'll go back down, and then it'll go back up to 30. So I think it's and there's a decent amount of copies on the market here before you see any big price hikes. So again, it could see a buyout if the deck continues to do well. I think it'll probably stick in the $30 range. So you got to decide if that's something we are willing to buy or if you're going to hold out to see if it goes down. We also have the new Marcus. It's very cheap, $10 for the alt. It's actually just been decreasing. I think the guy was only playing like 1 of this. My build was playing 2, but then I guess my build was a lot different because it was yellow base. But yeah, seeing, it's just gone down, and now it's leveling off, and this is kind of where it's going to be. $10 might go back up to $15 if the deck continues to be good, but it's still always going to be a very cheap Marcus to buy, so that's not too bad. We have Galactamon. Galactamon also had a top in the thing. It's actually gone down in price regardless of the top, but you can see it's starting to level right there. It's starting to just kind of crawl back up. It was up around $30 when it got released, and now it's down to 18, 19. There's lots of copies on the market, so I don't see it going up too much, but it might break that $20 mark if people start buying, cards for the deck. So we could see, I would wait to sell this, but if you're looking for it, I would buy it now because I think it might go up and crack that $20 mark, especially if other people start topping with this deck. Although the guy who topped with the deck, Mr. Wares, he's a black Digimon player. That's the only color he plays. So if it's black, he plays it, and so I expect it. He probably did a lot of testing with this deck. Very talented guy. So shout out to him in the Brick City Discord, and congratulations on the top. You got the Vemmon alt. It's pretty cheap too. A lot of the cards for Galactimon's cheap. It's dropped dramatically, like half price since the release. Had a little bit of a bump there, but it's still kind of trending down. So this is another card that I could see going under $10. If the deck does well, maybe go up to 15. But again, it might rely on people willing to test the deck a lot and play it and learn it. So there's that. Of course, you got cards like Destrom on the promo, which is important for the deck, and it's seen nothing but a huge increase. You know, it was up at 25 at one point, down from like 5 to 10 at its height, and then now it's kind of trending back down to around 20, which is still a high price, with last sold being $15. So yeah, and there's some copies there. Not a lot. Like, you sell one copy and you're at $20, so could see a buyout. Definitely, very very likely. Actually, we'll see a buyout. And then of course Zenith, the last tamer for the deck. It's around 16 bucks. It's kind of mostly gone down, but it's had a little bit of a increase right here, but still trending down after that. So we might see this card go under $10, unless there's lots of copies. I don't necessarily see it going over 20, but you never know. But right now is definitely a good time, I'd say, to buy it, and before it goes over 20, if it does. If it doesn't go, I would say it would probably drop drastically and be around a $10 to $12 card if we don't see more Galaxy tops. And then lastly, we have Tai Kamiya, the alt art from World Convergence. Now, Adventure is something I've been hearing is a very good deck. I haven't seen any tops yet, so I don't know what the list looks like, but I just thought we'd take a look at Tai, one of the Tamer Secret from the set, which is trending around $30 to $35 right now. Still not a bad price for a secret. There's been a lot worse. There's been a lot better, but there's also been a lot worse. And right now, we've seen he had a big spike here after the release. People were buying him up. He went up to $50. He's just slowly been decreasing here, down to around 30. I think if you can get this card for 30, it's probably a pretty good price. I don't see it going down much more than that. I see it actually going up, especially if Adventure starts to put spots on the board at the next regionals that we're going to have this weekend. It'd be up to, probably easy buyout. It'd be up to, $38, $40. So, especially because it's a secret and if you run a bunch of copies of it. So I definitely think this is one to keep an eye on, because you never know where things are going to go with the next regionals. And if people have been saying Adventure is a pretty good deck, we're going to start seeing tops for it when people learn how to maximize the play style and the effects and the ratios. But that is our market analysis for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope the hospital room wasn't distracting or anything else in it. But thank you for joining us for the market analysis like usual. I'll get this up as soon as I can so you guys can enjoy. And thank you for sharing this special day with me with our new, my new baby, and continuing to provide content for the channel. We always appreciate you guys checking it out, subscribing, leaving comments, and we love doing it, so we're going to keep doing it. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day, and that's all for now, folks.